Suspend the show right now.
You're gonna zipline directly into the harpoon?
What do you know about planes?
I know a lot about.
Gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio, saving the underground music scene. Am I right, Shaney?
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Howdy.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. We're brought to you by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, GenericClothes.com, and Hellbender Vinyl. If you're listening to us live, tune in Monday on this 5 p.m. evening on the Live 365 app to take us with you wherever you go, or you can also go to WSRRradio.com. It's the homepage for all of our content, as well as us-radio.com. Again, not sure how we got there, not sure who uploaded us there, but
We're grateful.
thanks.
Yeah.
That number to text in, 216-859-8699. That's 216-859-8699 is the Rebel Hotline. Because we're not going down, there's no need to light the candles, and
We're not going down.
we're not going down. We're not the Dudley Boys.
The pilots are in the cockpit.
We are cocked and loaded.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's an aviation term, right?
Yeah.
They get on the plane and they
They're
go,
cocked and loaded.
yeah, they go, attention passengers, we are cocked and loaded. That's what they do when the pilots get on, yeah.
We're cocked and cocked and cocked and cocked. Sorry.
It's a
We're
penis
loaded.
joke.
Yeah.
It's a penis joke.
Yeah.
Passengers on turbulent plane fear the end is near as flight crew hands out cryptic item. Are we dying? Wait, who wrote this article, by the way? Where's this from? New York Post?
Yeah.
Who, Alex Minecraft? What's his last name there?
Mitchell.
Alex Mitchell. This is-
Just jeez.
the screen's pretty far away. Alex Minecraft from the
Yeah.
New York Post.
Yeah. Just like Jack Black.
It's candle. It's an electric candle.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptic item
Listen, I see both sides of that.
is a hell of a term.
That's like cryptic item though. That makes me think of like I'm playing an MMORPG. Or
Yeah,
something
I'm playing
that.
I'm doing a puzzle level in
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda.
I just talk to an NPC and complete the quest, and they give me a cryptic item.
Yeah, I'm in fucking Morrowind, and my cryptic item award meter is going up.
But also, let's flip the other side of that coin. Is it really that cryptic
Tails.
of an item? Yes, tails.
I
I'm-
think so.
From
I mean,
Sonic.
in this situation,
Knuckles.
imagine you were on a turbulent flight that was like
No,
super bumpy,
I will not imagine
Mhm.
that.
and then the flight crew just starts handing out electric candles.
Yeah, why to any of it? Why are they handing out electric candles?
If the
No
power
idea.
goes out,
Why do they have
if
electric
the lights
candles?
go out,
Why not lanterns? Not oil lanterns. Like
Flashlights?
lanterns are not. I
didn't
think
mean.
I wouldn't think anything like this doesn't give me like cryptic item vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
It's
no, cryptic items a stretch.
like I expect if someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna hand you a cryptic item," it better be like an ancient cursed skull.
Yeah, like
you know?
some kind of weird dagger
the
that's
monkey's
encased
paw.
in,
You
yeah.
better hand me the monkey's paw.
I better have like some fucking Cthulhu-ridden Necronomicon
Yeah.
item in my inventory
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Cryptic item is a bit of a stretch, but no, why would you give out electric candles? I understand the sentiment of like, I would think we're going down.
Yeah, it's a little. It's a little.
No
spooky.
context. Here's an electric candle.
It's a
The
little
flickering
spooky.
kind?
Yeah, yeah.
But again, my logic brain wants to tell me I would like. I don't know. I start seeing people turning on their little LED candles.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
Saying
This
their
is-
prayers.
The druids are
this is
coming
the
out.
end.
There's
This is the
chants
end.
over the loudspeaker.
Yeah. Oh my no. Like, oh, what the fuck?
That or you booked a flight on Satanic Airlines, apparently.
I'm DB Cooper in it at that point. I'm getting the money. I'm getting the parachute. And I'm jumping off.
Yeah, why not flashlights? Why would you need flashlights on a plane? Don't they have like reserve power
Yeah.
like an apartment complex does? And planes are the apartment complex of the air.
That's what they say. That is what
So-
they call them. The apartment complex of the air. Planes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they. I mean, I guess I would assume that all planes have to have. Because, like, you see in movies, like, that red light turns on.
Yeah.
And then So, yeah, I assume that there's some kind of backup light, which
There has to be because they have the black box, right? That has to run on backup power.
I don't know what that is.
The black box is the thing that records the pilot and the flight. So, like, if the flight goes down, they recover the black box to see what happened.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
So, like, that's all we have from MH370, the Malaysian Airlines flight that disappeared. We don't have the black box, but we have, like, the last recording from it before
Whoa.
the tower lost transmission to it as Goodnight Malaysian Airlines or whatever it said.
Yeah.
But, like, the full detailed, like, transcription recording of what happened is lost.
I guess that makes sense.
Lost media.
Because the black boxes are, well, it is. In the black box is, like, tracked, right? It's essentially a tracking device.
Yeah.
So you should be able to like locate it, know where the plane is, and
Interesting.
figure out what happened.
Interesting. I'm assuming it sends like an update
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like, an
yeah.
updated message of or an updated log every couple of hours or something
Right.
like that. Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so that's my thought process of like, why would you need flashlights or candles on a plane?
Yeah, why would you have the candles on
That's
the
what I'm
plane,
saying.
I guess? If you're stocking the plane with, like, okay, we need emergency lighting for the passengers, and then, like, your coworkers...
Johnson, did you buy the flashlights? And he's like, well, here's the thing. It was 2-day shipping for the flashlights, but I could overnight these electric candles.
We have electric dinner table candles.
Yeah, what if they were just a little, like, tea
Well,
candles?
that's what it looks like.
Is
That-
it?
Look at
Oh,
what she's
man,
look at what she's holding.
I thought it was, like, the like Christmas candles.
No. It looks like a little, like,
It is
something
a-
that you would put on, like, a dinner table
little
at a
tea
party.
candle, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Tea candles?
I
have
think
no
so.
idea.
Teacup candles?
Tea kettle.
Not a tea kettle. They start
teapot.
handing out cryptic tea kettles.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
They're like, we're going down. Would you like blackberry or sleepy time?
Chamomile.
Yeah.
Chamomile or sleepy time for you. Thank you.
Cryptic tea on the airplane.
Whoa, cryptic tea.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
when you got rumors about the underworld. You're spilling the cryptic tea.
Again, I want to have the realist opinion of, unless like my flight attendants are wearing like druid robes and shit, like, and like the lights go out and they're like, yeah, chanting over the PA, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
There's
just
smoke filling the aisle. Of the
yeah,
plane.
the Undertaker
Yeah.
shows up.
The black lights come on.
I get tombstoned. No, I would.
Oh, yes.
I would just assume that it's for the light. Like, I would just assume they're like, okay, the lights might go out at this point.
I would assume we're dying. I would genuinely assume, like,
I don't know, because it's one of those things where,
because that seems like a very 60s thing. Like, before the TSA existed, I feel like in the 60s, you'd get on a plane and they'd be like, oh, we're going down, and they'd start handing
Here's-
out candles to
here's the
people.
candles.
Yeah. I feel like that's something I would see in a movie of like, oh, the
I
plane's going
guess.
down, hand out the candles. Is there a pastor
I
on
guess.
board?
I guess. My brain just wants to tell me that, like, and again, you only know if you're in this situation of like a turbulent plane, and then the flight attendants start doing weird cryptic shit to
Yeah.
you, like, you know.
Do you?
I don't know, about within the cabin, you know, they start doing cryptic
They're
shit.
over there like, it's time for the blood sacrifice.
Oh man,
Man, I really shouldn't have booked Delta.
mid turbulence. Fuck.
No, that's Spirit.
But yeah, I would
This
just
is
assume,
Holy
like,
Spirit Airlines right here.
I would just assume it's a lighting issue, and that I should expect the lights to go out at some point.
Maybe
potentially.
it was just like they ran out of peanuts and had to improvise.
Yeah, like, here, take these.
Yeah.
We figured you guys would like these instead.
Like, what else we got on
It's
board?
not a snack, but you guys can light them. It's pretty fun.
Why did they have them on board? That's the
Yeah,
part
right,
that
right.
trips me up.
Again, going back to like, okay, you're packing the plane, which I'm assuming that's something that is like the flight attendant's job, or like maybe there's like
Consumer services or something.
yeah, consumer services for the airport that like packs each plane
Yeah.
individually with its essential needs.
Well, because they gotta pass like code before they
Yeah,
they hit the
right,
runway,
right.
right? Of like things that need to be on the plane.
Yeah, I would at least okay. I would have to assume, right? We don't
I'm not.
know.
I'm
We
not
don't know
Johnny
for sure.
Aviation over here,
Okay,
as many have speculated.
I thought you were.
I am in fact not Johnny
I
Aviation.
thought Johnny A standed for. I thought the A in
No,
Johnny A
no.
standed for.
I know they
aviation.
call me Johnny A lot, but no, the A does not stand for aviation.
I just watched the.
It stands for aptitude test.
I just
I'd
watched.
be placing people in jobs like crazy.
I just watched Christmas Vacation recently. It's the holiday season.
I just
I
just got done saying I don't like that movie yesterday.
So it's no, I don't particularly love it, but they call him his wife calls him Sparky in
Yeah,
that movie
yeah.
a lot, and I really love the idea of your wife having just like a token nickname for you. Come on, Sparky, you can do it. Like such an '80s movie, so good.
What happened to nicknames like that?
Nothing good.
Like-
I don't think. I think they all went by the wayside.
I think they all experienced some turbulence.
Yeah,
the
they all
candles came out.
Yeah, the candles came out. There was turbulence.
You
Yeah.
know what? I think I'm changing my mind. I think the candles are a cryptic item.
Right?
Because if you're walking down the street and some guy just comes up to you and hands you a candle, that's kind of cryptic. Like if it was a Snickers, then that'd be fine.
I don't.
Guitar pick, sure. Candles have implications. There is death involved when there's candles.
There's whole movies based on candles.
I
16
don't
of 'em.
disagree that it is a cryptic message to be handed a candle.
16 Candles is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Terrifying.
Hocus Pocus.
Terrifying.
It's about a
Zac
candle.
Efron, isn't he in that?
That's 17 again.
Oh, 17 Candles with
Yeah.
Zac Efron.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Also a terrifying movie.
Petrified. No, it's cryptic. I agree. Like I don't want to say that being handed a candle on a plane is not a scary thing to happen. Like being in that moment, I'd be like, whoa. But I think seeing everybody else with their candles, I don't know. I'd have to be in that moment, but I'm trying
Group
to visualize.
session, you're okay with it?
Like I'm looking around, everyone has their candles and they're
You
like
just feel
turning on.
included?
Yeah, I'm happy to be included. All right, we all have candles. This is a group event. And then maybe the lights will go out. Okay, whatever. It's like a birthday party.
Maybe they were just about to like put Rudy on or something, and they're like, we're all gonna have a candlelight watch session of Rudy on the in-flight.
Maybe someone died and they didn't want to tell anyone, and so they're
Someone
like,
was already dead on
yeah,
the flight.
Yeah.
So like, what's a respectful way to?
secret candlelit vigil?
Yeah.
I like that.
The pilot just comes on. Will everyone light your candles now?
Well,
and
yeah.
no one knows why.
And you have to assume there's probably 300 seats on that plane
What
or
does this
something
do
like
for
that.
you?
This
in the
looks
long
like a
run?
relatively small plane, honestly. If you look at the picture,
Crop duster.
So what? How many seats would you say?
I'm no Johnny Aviation, so I couldn't tell you.
Jules is more of a.
Yeah,
of a-
no.
She's a Jenny Aviation.
Jenny A.
Jenny A.
As they
yeah,
call her.
Yeah.
I
Jenny
don't-
from the plane.
I can't
Yeah.
tell you exactly
She's
how
still
many.
Jenny from the plane. Let's
But it's-
estimate 100.
Yeah.
Okay, let's estimate 100. It's probably still cheaper to do 100 fake candles than it is 100 flashlights.
I don't think so.
But it's less cryptic to give people a flashlight.
Yeah, but I don't
Hang on.
think, like-
If the point of this was for light, these things do not give off light.
They give off light.
They do. Even for you and your one
It's an e-
seat, this doesn't give off
It's
enough light.
It's an electronic candle.
I
the
used
whole
to
point
work-
of it is to give off light.
I used
But
to work
also,
at
it's
Hibachi.
bright.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I forgot that makes you the electric candle expert. My bad.
No, listen, motherfucker. I used to work at Hibachi, and part of my
Chopping
job
up the chicken.
was
Electric candles. Yeah.
we had electric candles on the tables,
All right.
and we had to have 9 of them for each table because even with the lights dim, not off, but dim, they would not give off light. Fully charged.
They give off they don't not. It's not like you turn it on and there's no light
I'm
emitted
saying,
from it.
if you wake up and the power's out at your house, you are not getting around with one electric candle, one little tea kettle
No, if I
candle.
had a couple though, I'd feel okay.
but
But
you only get
also-
one on this plane.
But
Side
everybody
note.
has one.
Side note,
It's a group effort.
But what if the person next to you doesn't turn theirs on?
Be like, "Psst, buddy,
based
buddy,
on
we're
this
going down."
picture,
turn your fucking light on.
Is that a
man."
cryptic item you got there?
based on this picture, it's super bright outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also daytime.
So they're planning on being in the ocean then.
I don't know. No, the candle does not indicate that they are planning on being in the ocean.
It's dark in the ocean when you
Only
take a
deep.
nosedive.
Only deep.
Oh, planes crash pretty deep in the ocean, buddy.
batteries
Sometimes
They
still
don't
work?
float.
Sometimes they crash shallow.
Do batteries still work fully submerged?
They're gonna find out.
I think. I don't know. I have no idea. I've
They
never
make
put.
they make waterproof flashlights.
So now you guys are just mad at the airline that they didn't provide flashlights.
Why would you have candles? Is there a murder
'Cause they're
mystery
cheap.
show?
Because they're cheaper. It's
I
not
don't
that
think they are.
elusive.
I'm looking this up. 216-859-8699. Send me some links to electronic candles.
He's out in the car, listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
It doesn't tell me how 50 count. 50 count of teacup candles on Amazon, $13. So if we're going for $100 or 100
Probably
passengers,
$13
right?
for one flashlight.
I don't, not like small. If little keychain flashlights.
Dude, if I'm on an airline and we're going down
Yeah,
and they hand me a little keychain flashlight, I'm gonna be like, why the fuck didn't you just hand me a little electric
you would not.
candle?
You would not say that.
I would immediately think, man, I wish I had an electric candle right now.
How much did I say? Wasn't that 50 pack
Yes,
of the tea candles for $13?
sure,
So you need 2 of those.
sure.
So about $26 for the whole plane, and then probably some more for extra.
Yeah, that's
The
cheap.
30 pack of mini flashlights is only $40, so it's not that much more expensive.
You're paying $120 to get the same amount
But you're providing so much less light
with the flashlights.
with the candles.
Disagree strong.
Well, I may not be buying tea candles or flashlights at the moment, but I have bought some sweet clothes from GenericClothes.com.
Oh.
And you can go to GenericClothes.com right now, support local, and stick it to the big brand clothing companies. No one cares about the details. Get to the point. Get shirts with pretty much anything you want on them at this point.
Yeah.
Like, they continuously add to their collection. They do giveaways each month and contests where you can win a free shirt, a free custom shirt that then gets added to the website. Get shirts that say things like shirt,
Right.
pants, sporting event, local government, a whole bunch of things on there. Political ideology. There are a whole bunch of shirts on there. $600 shirt, I think, is one, or $1,500 shirt. Go see for yourself at GenericClothes.com. If there's a shirt you're looking for, you can find it at GenericClothes.com. What you will not be able to do is return a car that you just bought at a Sandy dealership storefront. Where is Sandy, Texas?
Utah. Sandy, Utah, baby.
Is
Why is
Sandy
it so sandy?
is Sandy the name of the city?
I would assume Sandy
Or is
the
it
name
like
of the city.
Sandy Ford and Chevrolet?
No, I would assume that because it says Sandy, Utah, December 10th, 2024. An angry auto buyer who was refused a refund for a vehicle he bought at a Mazda Showtown earlier in the day returned with a vengeance late Monday afternoon and smashed his way into the dealership's showroom. And I feel like this video's gone pretty viral. I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
listeners have probably seen
Yeah.
it already at this point, but he literally smashes through the showroom and then is like barking at I told you I would do it.
Yeah, so a guy, it's like a Mazda 6 or something like that,
Mhm.
right? A Mazda.
Something.
Buys a new car, says he bought a lemon. They won't take the refund for it for some reason. And he says, well, I'm going to come return it. And so his thought process
I'm
is,
returning it, motherfucker.
I am driving
I
it
promise you.
directly through the storefront showroom. And that's what he does. He drives it right through and I think he into someone's desk, it looks like
Yeah,
in the
it
video.
looked
The
like
receptionist
yeah, it
desk.
looked
Yeah.
like the front reception desk.
So drives it right through there. There's customers and workers in there, obviously. And the first thing this dude does is he gets out of the car and goes, "Is anyone under there?" And they go, "No." And he goes, "I told you, motherfuckers. I was returning it."
He said, "I told you."
And obviously the police were called after that.
Yeah.
And he was taken away. And he told the police that the reason he was doing this is because they sold him a lemon.
There's lemon laws. He
I-
very well could have sued the dealership.
I think he very well knows he didn't get sold a lemon. I think that's what this is.
So
But he said it said that he bought it like not too long before he crashed
Right.
into the dealership.
Yeah, he had just recently purchased the car.
If he would have had it looked over and like documented what was wrong with it, the time that he bought it,
I'm saying that's the thing. I don't think it was like, oh, the transmission was bad from the time I bought it. I think he just didn't like something about the car.
Murray alleged, and this is just a quote from the article. Murray alleged told the manager since they were quote not giving him back, not giving his money back, he was going to drive his vehicle through the front doors. Murray then walked
He told
out,
him.
got into his vehicle, and drove it through the front of the building. He said, "I'm gonna do this thing," and then immediately did it.
It's
That's
kind of
funny.
on them.
Yeah.
I
At that
know.
point, you should have been like, "All right, well, let's try to figure something out." So
I
that
love-
you don't do that.
I love haggling with the car dealers.
I will. If you don't give me this deal right now, I will drive my car directly through the front of your dealership. I am not afraid.
Listen, I love haggling with the car dealers. I really do. Like, people go to car lots and they'll start looking for cars, and I always want to go with them.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I am the dealer, if I am the representative for this dealership,
Right.
and this guy is like, listen, if you do not give me this refund, I will drive this car through your building. I'm at least opening the floor to negotiation at that
Yeah,
point.
let's at least try to talk this. Let's try to talk this through.
I think it's a little bit on the dealership.
Here, according to the affidavit of probable cause statement filed in Salt Lake County 3rd District Court, as officers approached, Murray was standing right outside the front door, and when asked what was going on, he said they sold him a, quote, lemon, and that he would not give them his money, they would not give him his money back for the vehicle that he had bought earlier today, so he drove the vehicle through the front door.
Today?
He told the cops, too. He was like, he told them exactly what happened.
He's like,
he did
well,
not lie.
I told him I was going to do it, and I did it.
Yeah. Here's my wrists. Take me.
I wonder, he's got to go to jail, right? This is definitely a
lockup-worthy
lockup-worthy offense.
Probably going to at least go to jail. Probably not prison, but
Yeah.
he's probably going to go to jail.
The worst part is now we can't even figure out what was wrong with the car because it's probably totaled after hitting the receptionist desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know. I wish we could have the phone calls leading up to this. Because, like, he bought the car, drove it off the lot, got home, was like, I don't want this car. Probably called them and was like, hey, I need to return this car.
They're
This, and this is wrong with it.
They're like, nope, sorry, you already bought it.
Yeah.
We just signed, sealed,
Which-
delivered.
That's not a thing most dealerships do in general.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they probably would not give you a full refund, even within 24 hours.
Yeah,
They
I
wouldn't
feel
be like, here's your money back.
I feel like I've never heard of that being a thing, getting a full like you buy a
Right.
car from and then you get your money back right away. Then
Right.
I feel like that's...
But I feel like they'd probably work with you and be like, especially if it was that day and you
Yeah.
bought a car,
Yeah, they'd work with you.
they'd be
but,
like, well, okay, here's what you can get
Yeah, it's probably a
as
situation
an even
of-
swap, or here's what we
Right.
can give you back now that
Right.
it's off the lot.
They would be at least willing to work with you, or at least the
You'd think.
Well,
the
'cause-
salesman should be willing to
Right.
work with you if
So
he's a good
I
salesman.
bought a car and thanks.
Congrats.
And I got home, I went to Walmart and the car died. I was stranded at Walmart. I called the dealership because it was that day that I had bought it.
Mhm.
I called the place that I had bought it and I was like, hey, I'm stranded. Figured out it was the starter and they offered to replace it for me.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
here's the difference, though. You didn't have a dealership. You had a used car lot.
Yeah, it was a used
and
car
used
lot.
car lots care about their reputation.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
A dealership does not, and this is a dealership. And I feel like this is very. Again, I don't think that most dealerships, if you within 24 hours, like, I need to return this car, there's something wrong with it, they'd be like, no, fuck you, you got to keep it.
Probably.
So weird on the dealership that at this point, but they're also not like hurting for your business.
Yeah, that's
Your
fair.
one opinion on the
Yeah,
car that
right,
you already made the
right.
purchase, they made the money, they don't
what's-
really care.
What's stopping them from having their technicians look over it and say, well, no, it's fine.
Right,
We don't see any problems with it.
right.
Beep, beep, you're on your way. Like, fuck you, we're not giving you anything back.
You'd
You know.
think he didn't like buy this thing outright.
I
No,
would assume
yeah.
not.
So,
I would
like-
just have to assume not.
I wonder if he got home and realized like how much the payment was actually going to be.
Fuck,
He was
I
like,
can't do
actually
this.
can't afford this.
Fuck. drove it through the front. Here, Murray's being investigated for second-degree felony criminal mischief and 2 Class A misdemeanors, including reckless endangerment and economic interruption/property damage.
Economic interruption is a crazy charge.
Yeah, dude.
Also, criminal mischief I think is a hilarious charge.
You are criminally a mischief.
Yeah, like you created so much mischief that it was
A
criminal.
little mischievous criminal. Come on, buddy.
At what point do you just call it crime? Like criminal mischief? Just
Yeah,
call it
that's-
crime
That's
at that
crime.
point.
You're doing crime, buddy.
That's a little bit more than joking around.
It's so funny that he was just so transparently honest about,
Yeah.
like, all right, well, I'm going to go get my car and drive it through the front of this building then.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right. And then he did it. Got out of the car.
He's like,
was
it has
the
been
cops.
returned.
yeah. Got out of the car, was like, I told you guys I was going to do it.
This is a sitcom subplot.
The cops got there. He told them what he did. Was not like, he was like, look, this is what happened.
Look, they have the car.
Yeah.
I want my money.
This thing is a piece of shit.
I mean, it was a Mazda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. And his fucking reaction, he just gets out and says, I told you I was going to do it.
Why is it so easy to drive through buildings? Like, I've seen so many cars drive through buildings.
Because cars are... I remember being told before I got my license, before I could drive or anything like that.
You talking about the Bullet? Is that what you're going to talk about?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, go ahead then.
I don't know about the bullet. No, just that...
It's a cryptic item. You'll know about it soon.
All right. As soon as they give it to me.
Yeah, as soon as they come by and hand you one single bullet.
Every car is a death machine, and you have to like be able to understand that and watch more for other people on the road than yourself. You know, I feel like there's a very basic, like we've all been driving for a while now, so that's all basic common knowledge. But like to new drivers or to someone who hasn't been driving, that is like very sage wisdom of like secretly we are all driving these crazy death contraptions that fly 100 miles an hour at each other and, you know, opposite directions and shit.
It's crazy how less and less we actually care about safety, despite like the safety rating being a thing now, right? I watched it was for a Ford Escort, 1991 Ford Escort or something, and they were advertising the bumpers on the Ford Escort. And if you've ever seen an old Ford Escort, they got this big black rubber bumper on the front of it, in front of the metal bumper. Yeah. And, like, it was legitimately just a spring-loaded bumper, and it just showed the whole commercial for the car. Was it just running into other cars or light posts or things like that, and it would bump and bounce off? That's not a thing anymore. A bumper doesn't do what it's supposed to do anymore. It's just a piece of plastic now.
Yeah.
A bumper does not actually bump off anything.
It doesn't bump anything.
Yeah.
Your bumpers ain't bumping anymore.
These bumpers just ain't bumping. But no, that's not... anyway, I guess we're going to break. So if you want to return a car, 216-859-8699. Drive it through the Rebel Studio.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show.
The gyros at Arby's are actually pretty good. Gyros.
Oh yeah,
what
no,
you
the
said.
gyros at Arby's are
They're
pretty
gyros,
good.
but yeah. I hate that you call them fucking gyros.
They're
They're
gyros.
gyros. It's a Greek word. Damn
I'm
it.
not Greek.
It's a Greek
I'm
word.
not
Damn it.
Greek.
Dude, get him to the Greek.
I'm not Greek. I don't go in the fucking.
Why do you call it Parmesan? It's Parmesan then for you, buddy.
No, it's not.
Parmigiano.
I'm not
It's
Greek.
called a fucking gyro.
I don't drive through Taco Bell and go, yeah, let me get pollo. I don't do that. I say
Ugh.
chicken because I'm not Mexican.
Yeah, Evan, I don't go through the drive-thru and say, I want spaghetti. I say, give me the noodles. Yeah?
Oh, sorry. I was just on my phone on hellbendervinyl.com.
Oh.
I was looking at some of their custom vinyl record pressings they've put out this year.
Yeah? What, like what?
Oh, they have tons. They have a
Yeah.
whole variety of different colors and I don't know what's the term for shininess. What's the luster?
Oh, okay.
Is
I know what
luster
you're
the
talking
correct
about.
term?
Yeah.
I was trying to think back to my geology days. Is
Back
lu-
when I was a geologist.
well, because it's luster and there's something else when you do the scratch test. That's
I'm
regardless.
not a...
They have a whole variety of custom vinyl records at hellbendervinyl.com. You can even see how the process is made if you follow them on Instagram. That's Hellbender Vinyl. And if you're in the Pittsburgh area, there's even delivery up to a certain radius. And every customer at Hellbender Vinyl gets 5 free test presses completely free. They're one of America's most trusted vinyl record pressing plants. So make your next album release something special with hellbendervinyl.com because they're hellbent on quality, they're hellbent on service. Once again, that's hellbendervinyl.com. That is in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
In New Jersey.
A little bit across the pond, as they say.
Yeah, where there's spaghetti in the woods
Yes.
and bears that are found by presidential candidates.
yeah.
And
Pasta.
we said spaghetti in the woods.
Oh,
Don't worry.
okay.
Don't you worry.
Sorry.
There's other things. We talked about something else in the New
New
Jersey
Jersey
woods.
is just a very elusive. It's a very cryptic place. There's a lot of cryptic items. Sometimes you're gifted cryptic items in New Jersey.
the home of the cryptic item.
Yeah.
New Jersey. New Jersey is really the home for a lot of content on this show.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. Thank you, New Jersey. But there's drones. I'm sure everyone's heard about this. There's been drones spotted over New Jersey, and initially the initial report that I heard was that they were as big as the hood of a car, these drones. Flash forward to Thursday this past week, and the latest report I heard was they're as big as SUVs.
Oh, they're getting larger.
Are they the
They're
fish?
growing. They're growing.
They're growing. They're multiplying.
Yeah, so there's hundreds, I believe, right?
I mean, it just seems like there are more and more sightings as the days go by, which is kind of, like, weird. And also, it's just the fact that we haven't confirmed, because, so, at least what I'm reading here from NBC is that it's been since the drones were first spotted in New Jersey on November 18th. And NBC News has been tracking reports of possible drone sightings, mostly in New Jersey, since December 3rd. It's the 16th now, and there's definitely been more sightings since the 3rd. So I would assume, yeah, probably within the hundreds. I don't know, though. It just seems like one of those things where every night you can go on whatever social media and
see more
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is, as much as we talk about pasta in the New Jersey woods, this is very much a legitimate news story that's been going around.
Yeah, it's
what
just
are these
weird.
drones and why are they here and
Right.
is it a threat? Are we under attack?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
Why just New Jersey?
is it a threat, or are we
what do they want with New Jersey?
like are we mistaking like UPS flight thing, like,
Partial
Oh,
things?
yeah,
Yeah.
parcel
Amazon
flights.
delivery drones.
Right.
It's Christmas time.
Like there's just multiple. I feel like there's so, because it's one of those things too where because drones have become such a thing that people use, I guess,
Yeah.
like legitimately. It's not just an amateur, like people are doing it for
It's not a
fun or for
hobby,
leisure.
yeah.
It's not a hobby. People use these things in their actual practice. It could be any number of legitimate
Right.
things that are just like American-based companies that are using drones
Right.
for whatever their company might be.
And from what I understand, there's like investigations, like federal investigations for these drones
Right,
that
yeah.
are going
There
on
should
now,
be,
and
right.
we don't have answers for it. Like, it can't be that hard
Well,
to
and
track down a drone, right?
I don't
Follow
remember.
it and see where it lands.
I don't remember where I heard, but it was something to the effect of there was a New Jersey sergeant that had a helicopter that was over one of the drones and felt uncomfortable, like didn't feel safe for him and his people in the helicopter with him, and so they flew off. And I was like, aren't you
New
guys-
Jersey's finest.
Yeah, aren't you guys supposed to? Isn't that your job to follow
To
that
deal
sort
with the
of-
uncomfortable thing.
Right, to track that thing that makes you nervous. Like, isn't that your
That's
whole
good.
shtick?
That's good.
He was
Yeah.
waiting for somebody like Spider-Man or Iron
Yeah,
Man
right,
to
right,
swoop
right.
in.
Waiting for a superhero to show
It's
up.
Mysterio. That's what it is.
I guess
Mysterio's
so.
got his drones out.
Yeah, his illusion drones.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's probably what it is.
New Jersey is just an illusion. It's
They're
not
setting up for
real.
the next MCU.
Yeah, it sank years ago, and this
New
is
Jersey's fucking gone.
yeah, this is just an illusion.
That's why there's so much fun stuff happening in New Jersey. People are just programming in
yeah,
goofy things in the
It's-
wild.
It's been AI generated the
Yeah.
last couple of years, so
They're like, what if we put pasta in the woods?
fuck it. Why
Fuck it,
not?
see what happens.
Yeah.
But no, like, no one knows where these drones are coming from, which is very interesting to me. If they're this big,
Yeah, right.
they can't be like elusive, right? Follow it, see where it lands.
Well, and that's another thing. I saw a video of a guy shooting like he was literally just in his front yard of like a New Jersey suburb at night shooting his assault rifle
Yeah.
at a drone. I was like, bro,
That's crazy.
that's dangerous. Like, obviously, I want to get these things down too and figure out what they are by any means necessary. But like, shooting a gun in a
Listen, man, if-
upwards in a neighborhood, bro.
if that thing is close enough for you to shoot and it's the size of an SUV, you must be a terrible shot if you didn't get
That's
that
what
thing
I was
down.
thinking, bro. He was pulling the trigger like it was fully auto. It wasn't fast,
Well,
but
semi-auto, because that'd be illegal if it was fully auto.
It was boop, 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 boop,
It's
boop, boop.
semi-automatic.
That's semi-auto. It's boop, boop, boop,
If
boop,
it's,
boop,
is it
boop.
an AR-15?
I don't know what it was.
You can't legally own a fully automatic weapon.
You ever heard of a giggle
Well,
giggle
you
trigger?
can't legally
Sounds like a cryptic
shoot
item.
into the
On a
air
Glock,
like that.
A giggle
It
trigger.
depends on where you live. Probably not New Jersey, but no.
A giggle switch.
If you live in a township, you can.
Really?
Yeah, townships, you can fire a gun on your own property.
Well, yeah.
Regardless, it seemed like a very suburban.
Right,
There were
yeah, no.
sidewalks and other houses.
Again, that's probably not the circumstances.
Yeah.
But no, so real quick, because I have an interesting rebuttal to that, or,
Mhm.
or counterpoint, or continuation of that. But the main theory that I've seen right now is apparently there is, I want to say Iran, there's an Iran like naval ship
Mhm.
that's parked off of the New Jersey Bay for some reason.
Mhm.
Which, why aren't we investigating what that's about? That seems like that should be a concern.
Because Luigi Mangione.
And again, I think this could very well be a distraction. Not from that, because I think that might be a distraction as well. But like, there's a whole bunch of transitional presidential stuff happening right now.
Right,
Like, I feel
right.
like this could very well be another Canadian wildfire train derailment kind of distraction.
I
here.
mean, I don't disagree at all. And also, there was like you brought up, Jules, the Chinese weather balloon that was
yeah, it flew over like 20 states before we did
Yeah,
anything about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this could very well just be a distraction.
Pentagon has said that they are not owned by military and that they are not coming from the Iranian quote mothership
All right.
off the East Coast, as suggested by
As suggested by Rebel Radio Show.
yeah,
As
as suggested by
suggested.
Rebel Radio
Style.
show host.
I'm just saying, I
Uh,
dismissed that one pretty quick. Maybe we'll look back into it, you know?
In the statement with NBC News, the U.S.
Still, why
Secret
is that
Service is
Yeah,
confirming
right.
it. So here, the U.S. Secret Service is confirming it, quote, does not currently have any unmanned aerial systems operating in or around New Jersey or New York. So Secret Service is saying, like,
It's
yo,
not ours.
It's not us. That ain't us.
So this is some company. Listen. I'm not ruling out the Iranian ship. Sorry,
I mean,
sorry,
no.
Pentagon.
I don't disagree with that. I think anything's on the table until
Yeah.
like you get. Oh, and that's the other thing. If they're different sizes, like you have to get a couple of these down and look at them, right?
Right.
To like compare and contrast and see.
I know we brought it up already, but how do you lose things that are the size of SUVs and car hoods?
I just
how
don't
do they
understand.
disappear
Feel
on you?
uneasy and fly away.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just don't understand like
they got the uneasy beam on.
the police thing, but then also like why isn't something like the Secret Service coming in?
And this is why I think it's like a false flag or a distraction because, like you said, why wouldn't instantly the police of this city be like, well, why are there giant drones over my city?
Right. And
Let's do
again,
something.
I wish I had the quote from the sergeant, but it was something to the effect of like he didn't feel comfortable with the people. Like he didn't feel comfortable for the safety of him and the people in the helicopter with him, so they flew off of it.
Fuck the
let it
city
go.
below.
Yeah, they're like, let it go. Fuck it.
It's probably fine.
It's fine.
It's probably fine. It's probably not
Yeah.
Iranian or anything.
Yeah, yeah. So that's always heartwarming.
My overall opinion on this whole thing, because this has been going on for weeks now, is the
November
fact that
18th. It's been a while.
No one's bringing up the fact that, and we've talked about drones, but we talked about the city in Ohio where some guy was throwing beer bottles at the police drone,
Yeah.
and then the police put out a tweet saying, "Please don't throw beer bottles at our drones."
Right.
We have so much progress, exponential growth, as you would say,
Ayo.
in terms of the drone market from just a year ago, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, again, we brought it up before, but these things are massive, it seems, from the
Yeah.
reports. Why have the drone laws not also grown since then?
Well,
Because it's still
I
operating
feel-
under private airspace, right? You don't own the air around your house, so you can technically fly a drone there, and it's not impeding someone else's property.
I think it's interesting that there are some police forces in some cities that do have police drones and then others that don't. And it's one of those things where I don't even know where I side on that because that seems...
I think they should, but not for like
If they're-
how the police force in Ohio we talked about was using it of like, oh, we think this was it like a meth charge or something. They thought he was
Yeah.
cooking meth and they sent a drone back there. Like, no, if someone we I don't know if we ever talked about it here, but there was in Parma there was a blockade. And like this dude had like someone hostage in a house, and a SWAT team was called, and they sent in a drone to figure out the layout of the house.
Yeah.
I think that's a great use of drones. Like if there is a genuine like danger situation and you're sending in a drone to get the layout of the house or something or
Right.
do something, I think that's a fantastic use for a drone. I don't think just flying them around through people's houses because we suspect something might be going on is a good use of a drone.
No, I completely agree. It's one of those things where I worry about like in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
How far is it gonna go? Where, okay, there's police drones in every city now, but drone laws get looser, and then police drones are just patrolling like 24/7.
Well,
That'd be like borderline spooky for me.
So here's what I don't understand about
Like scanning every second.
Yeah, right. Like imagine that.
this is what I don't understand about all of this. So even if you go and buy a drone, and I just saw someone do this, if you go and buy a drone, you have to fly it in non-restricted airspace. It's the same with radio signals. You have to make sure you're not broadcasting in restricted airspace. Anything you put in the air that's like within so many feet of an airport or a hangar or anything like that or a federal facility
Right.
typically has restricted airspace for those reasons. You can't fly through it. And most drones now will deactivate or not let you take off if you're in that airspace.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it's an FCC commission.
Right. Like if it's a smart enough drone, if it's
Right.
a technologically advanced enough drone.
So
Interesting.
I saw someone the other day post on their story that they bought this drone, they took it out to a strip, and they went to go fly it, and because they were too close to the airspace, the notice they kept getting is it would not take off. You can't take it off here. This is restricted airspace.
That's very, very interesting.
So why can't they put some kind of restriction on this airspace to kill these drones out? If
Yeah.
this is a big
Right.
enough issue where the Pentagon's talking about it and the Secret
Right,
Service is
right,
talking
right,
about it,
right.
you can't like temporarily put up a restricted airspace over New Jersey.
Yeah, some kind of not EMP, but
Right.
yeah, like a
FCC commission ban or something on this
right,
airspace.
so that it deactivates. But then that becomes the thing of, well, if it's in other countries, then that might not even affect it, and they'll still be up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
how that works out.
It's one of those things where like this could be silly mumbo jumbo nonsense, and it's like a delivery company or something very harmless, or it is like
'Cause
another country.
It
or-
totally could be like new delivery startup company.
sure.
That's
right.
like the new DHL.
Dude, it could be UPS, and we just don't know about it yet. You know,
Right.
they haven't made a comment about it, or it could
And
be.
New Jersey is the like test.
Yeah, right. New
land.
Jersey's the test market, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, we're in trouble." It's a very interesting predicament, and like it's one of those things where it's kind of like AI, where drones are still so new.
Yeah.
like you said, the drone market and the accessibility to drones has gotten like way to good drones
Yeah.
has gotten like exponentially easier.
Well, that's the thing I was going to bring. You talked about the guy who went out and was shooting at the drone. You can't do that, like,
Yeah, right.
at all.
Right.
On your property, if there's a drone on it, you can't shoot at it because you don't own the air around your property, which I
Yeah,
think is a
right.
crazy concept.
It's interesting.
Like, if I own land and there's just a drone on it, I should have the right to shoot that thing down.
Yeah.
I really should.
No, I don't disagree with that. If it's on your if it's on your property,
Yeah.
But it's
you
in
should
the
be able to
air.
shoot it
Yeah,
down.
but
not
yeah, you don't own the air, right?
I don't know. That's interesting. Because then what it's like, it's a situation of what if you have a private plane and a landing strip and like a hangar on your land. So then do you own that airspace?
Oh.
Because
Yeah, what if you had enough money to build your own landing strip, right?
I'm just thinking of like, people who have enough land and enough money to build that sort of stuff and just
Because there's definitely
take
people that
off
have like
and-
little crop dusters and shit that they
Yeah,
own
right,
that they just.
right.
How does that work?
Do you own that airspace? I don't know.
You think,
probably
like-
not. You probably have to sign some contract if it's legal.
Yeah.
You probably have to sign some contract with some state organization saying that you are legally allowed to have that hangar there with that runway and take off and land.
Well, you also have to have your pilot's license.
Yeah, right, of course.
But you don't. That's the thing. Because, like, it's the same with buying a car. You could have no license and buy a car off some guy on Facebook for $200,
Right,
and you could drive it for 10 years. And if as long as you don't get caught,
right,
who knows?
right. I had a friend who did that.
Yeah. Drove a car illegally for 10 years.
Drove a car legally for like 2.5-ish years.
But as long as you don't get in an accident or get caught driving it without a license,
Right,
like, no
right.
one would know the difference.
Right.
So if I bought a crop duster tomorrow and just started flying it, as long as no one caught me, like, getting in the way of air traffic,
Right. Well, and that's the other thing is like you'd have to learn air traffic control speak. and
or I
shit
could get
like
really
that.
lucky.
You
Or I could get really lucky when I
He's
fly
the-
my plane.
You could have a call sign of like the silent flyer.
Yeah,
And just never
yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
That's how
I
you
have
get
my
around-
radio
yeah,
on. It's just
yeah.
a white noise all the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. He's the silent flyer.
They can't catch me because
Yeah.
I'm only as big as an SUV
Right.
just flying through the air.
But yeah, this is one of those things where it could be a total non-issue in like 2 weeks, and we know what it is, or this is like something spooky, or something in between. I guess something where maybe we,
Cryptic drones.
or like Style was saying, this could be another Canadian wildfire
Yeah.
situation, and this is just like a what do they call that? Look the other way, a distraction.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows? Like it's a very interesting situation, and these drones still haven't been no one has brought one down yet that we know of, and also drones are so new, and
Yeah.
like every country has them. Every country and probably a lot of police forces and a lot of militaries have them.
And I don't trust the federal government enough to, number one, acknowledge that it's not Iran just because they said it's not. And I
Yeah,
don't trust the
right,
federal
right,
government
right,
enough to
right.
acknowledge that it's not the federal government just
You're
because they
right.
said it's not.
Right.
I think very realistically it could be either one of them still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like nothing is off the table until one of these
Right.
things come down.
Because
what
again-
country was it that had the pot drones?
Country.
I
thought
remember
was
that
just
the
a
ones
state.
that dropped the weed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a country.
I thought that was just a state that did that.
No.
No, it was a country.
It was in Washington, wasn't it?
No,
Oh.
I thought it was like a Middle Eastern country or something
Yeah.
Oh.
like that. Maybe I don't remember. It's been a long time since we've talked about that.
Well, these
That
are
was a
just
while ago.
SUVs in the sky. These aren't
Yeah.
pot drones.
And it's interesting too that like they've supposedly gotten bigger
Yeah,
over time.
right.
Are they growing?
Which again, and that's an aspect of it. I'm like, are people just like
It's
increasing
I
the
caught a
size of their
fish
fish
story.
here?
Yeah.
Is this tall tale getting taller? That they're like, oh no, I saw one. It was the size of an SUV.
Yeah, maybe they're all just normal sized drones or
Yeah.
something like that, and people are getting spooked. Yeah, I don't.
Or-
Again, it's a million, and then like they're the ones that are on camera, and then the supposed sightings off camera because these
Right.
are just in like New Jersey suburbs. And
I'm
shit
just
like
saying,
that.
if it's not some kind of like here distraction thing, either by the local government or the federal government or another country's government, if that's not what it is, why don't we have an answer? It
Right.
shouldn't be this hard to go, there's a drone, let's follow it and see where it lands.
So here's a good little tidbit from NBC News. mayors who were presented at a briefing last week with New Jersey officials at a DHS representative told NPC that no one from state or federal agencies were able to confirm exactly how many drones had been spotted over New Jersey. One said they know of, quote, at least 400 sightings, and another said, quote, there could be thousands. So nobody has a clear answer as to how many there really have been seen.
What do you mean? Why is this a cryptid? What the hell is happening right now?
Yeah, right. Either
This isn't the
400
Mothman.
or thousands? Thousands?
You
Plural?
Are they flying around
Is this
like
an
a swarm of
armada?
bugs?
Are we just not like acknowledging the police reports? Like police report comes in, hey, I saw a drone. Nah, throw that one in the shredder.
Not real.
Wait, I don't
You
need any
fibber.
record of this.
Yeah,
It makes me want to go to New Jersey and just see if this is this big of an issue, and there's this many drones and they're this big, I should see them walking down the street daily.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I think there have been like a lot. Like I said, you check social media and you see more
Yeah.
sightings of this.
Oh, that's just a
nightly.
drone.
Right. Here's another one. Numerous federal officials, including the FBI, the lead agency investigating the matter, have said the drones don't appear to pose a threat, but have not provided much more information. The Federal Aviation Administration has launched a new website dedicated to the drones that aims to answer common questions about the flying objects. I wonder if that means drones in general or these specific drones
Right.
that are over, like FAQs about these drones that are flying over New Jersey, as much as we know.
I wonder if that's like user accessible. Like, can I go on there as a forum that I can like, hey, I saw this drone this day.
I mean, you can. There's
going to it?
Yeah, there's a link to the website, but I'm assuming it's probably
Them just giving information about here's what we know
Well,
about drones.
about drones in general,
Yeah.
so that people have maybe a better understanding when they look up and see
Yeah.
one. You know, which is still kind of spooky.
You know
but-
what? In general, I know I made the argument that drones can be used. I think I'm anti-drone in general. I don't think we need them.
I think in general, I'm probably. I don't know,
I just
dude.
don't think we need them.
It's one of those
We were
things
doing just
where
fine without them.
I
Without
get-
these cryptic objects in the sky, we were doing just fine.
It's the same thing with AI. Like, yeah, we were doing just fine without it, and I just worry that anything like that is going to get militarized. But then it's like the gun law situation where I know that there are bad people who have guns, so give good people guns too. That's the only solution. So then it's like if they have drones, we should have drones too.
Listen, more cryptic items, less cryptic objects.
Yes.
216-859-8699. Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on this Monday evening. If you're listening live on WSRR Radio, that number is 216-859-8699. To my right, Shaney.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Hola.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. We're brought to you by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago. If you need producing, mixing, mastering, reamping, even a live video service, Synergy Music Studio is the one-stop shop for all of your audio and production needs. Visit synergymusicstudio.com to get a full breakdown of all the things they do for the local independent music scene and for WSRR Radio. I was thinking about this the other day.
Uh-oh.
If you had a time machine and you brought back someone from like the 50s, right? Maybe like tail end of the 40s, early 50s.
Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, number one. If you
Nuka-Cola Tesla.
That's the one. If you were to bring back someone from like the late end of the 40s into the 50s, like super speakeasy era time, right?
Mhm.
That'd probably be like the 20s, but
Mm-hmm.
super like,
I'd bring back Great Gatsby.
someone like that, dapper gentleman. you know.
Old sport.
Yeah, old sport era.
Yeah.
If you were to bring back someone like that,
I love the green light.
they would think everything about
I'm
modern.
obsessed with it.
They
I believe there's a woman on the other side.
That's quite the cryptic message up there.
Sorry.
I think they would think everything is so like abstract and so wrong and weird about our society,
Mm-hmm.
except the super niche hipster establishments that try to be speakeasy like places.
Oh,
Like they'd probably go to the old school, old timey barbershop and be like,
Yeah.
finally a place that makes sense.
yeah. I agree with that.
That's such a like, and they'd hang out there.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think that the people who keep up handlebar mustaches and stuff like that now are just
And keep up their pants with suspenders.
they're trapped time traveled-ers. They
I think-
traveled in time unwillingly, and now they're here in the present, and they're like, well, I guess I have to stop talking like this and go to the barber.
I think they are also trapped time travelers. However, I think they're from 2011, and they're stuck in their hipster phase.
Oh,
They're like,
no.
guys, no, I promise,
Shutter-
this is super cool.
Shutter Shades never got cringe.
Yeah, no, they're still really into steampunk.
Cookie Monster hats, 5 ever.
Electro swing on their way to work every
Oh,
day.
Dude, rafflecopters
Oh
for
yeah.
days.
Oh yeah, I want that cake. What are we talking about? not anything that we've been talking about.
No, it's
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show.
There's a bear?
There's a bear.
There's a bear costume?
Timothy Chalamet?
So
Isn't he the one in the bear?
No, that's
No.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
What's the
No.
fucking name of the show that?
Oh, the
That's-
bear is the cooking show.
Yes,
Yeah.
with
I was
Timothy
thinking of The
Chalamet.
Revenant, where he
No.
gets attacked by the
No,
bear.
not the Reverend.
and it's not Timothy Chalamet.
It's the one that looks like him.
It's
Jiminy Cricket,
No.
Carrie Von Erich.
Yes.
Yes.
Jeremy Allen White.
Yes,
There
you
we
go.
got there.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet and Jeremy Allen White are the same person.
Well, then where does Tom Holland fit into all that?
Nowhere.
I feel like him and Timmy. I feel like Tom and Tom and Tim are very similar.
Not unless they're the Nooks. There's no way that there is no way that Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet are the same kind of person.
I feel like they're very similar.
No.
I disagree.
You look at
I disagree.
you look at Timothy Chalamet
Yes.
and you look at Carrie Von Erich. What's his name? Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Allen
You look
White.
at Jeremy Von Erich and Timothy Chalamet,
Yes.
and they both got that like weird Wonka hair.
I
No, hear me out.
Okay.
And they're like slightly slimmer. And they got that weird nose. That's like the weird pointed but curved nose. They both have it. They're the
See.
same person.
see. I disagree. I think
And they both sound like they're going to be really nasally, but they're not.
Jeremy Allen White has like
And
a
they
more.
both love cooking.
I think Jeremy Allen White has a more muscular build, where
Now.
Timothy Chalamet is slimmer, and I think that Jeremy Allen White's nose looks a lot more like fucked up and broken.
You do.
I do.
I don't.
Where Timothy Chalamet's nose looks like he got like a perfect pixie nose.
I
job.
think they both look like pixie noses.
No, I disagree.
And to your point about their build,
yeah.
they're the same person. Like Andy Samberg and who's the middle one in this equation? It's Michael Cera, then someone, then Andy Samberg.
I don't know.
The meme of the evolution. Who's the guy that plays Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg and Michael Cera. You go from Michael Cera to Jesse Eisenberg.
Mhm.
That's the evolution. They're the
Andy
same person.
Samberg.
Yeah.
I just think that. Listen,
Jesse Eisenberg is how you get from Michael Cera to Andy Samberg.
for our listeners, we are both heterosexual, and we're actually both about to be like, I'm married to a woman. Styles about to be
Wait, hang
married to
on.
a woman.
Oh, we never did that story. Never mind.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do this story before we never do this story.
Yeah.
There's a bear, not
Um,
Timothy Chalamet,
Yeah, there's a bear.
who was in the
Peop-
bear.
Somebody decided that they were
Jeremy
going-
Allen White was in the bear. All right.
Same guy.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway,
Literally exchange them anytime
Tom
you want.
Holland.
They're the same person.
You're wrong.
there was a person who put an insurance claim out on their car damage and said it was done by a bear. They had footage of them, of the bear,
Mhm.
quote unquote, accused bear. But
Because the
turns-
insurance asks for,
Yeah.
hey, can we see?
proof of that
right,
damage.
Right.
And then next thing you know, these people actually had a costume that was a bear, and they wore it, and they destroyed their own car.
So they purchased a bear costume,
Yes.
and also looks like they made like claws.
Yeah, it looks like the bear costume came with like
mitts.
mitt gloves.
Romney.
Mitt Romney's to
delivered
put
the
on
costume,
your hands. Yeah. No, it looks like it came with like gloves to put on that are like bear claws, but then they also made like makeshift knife bear claw things.
Yeah.
Or those are maybe like
And broke one.
meat tenderizer like meat
They're
shredders.
like brass knuckles, but they're spiked.
Yeah. Dude, imagine John Cena having those.
Can you imagine Jeremy Allen White fucking up your car like this?
No.
So
Jeremy!
they bought a bear costume. They made fake bear claw or like fake weapons to insinuate
I don't
fake
even know
bear
if
marks.
I don't even know if they made those. I feel like that's like a
You
cooking
think you
utensil.
can buy that?
I feel like that's a cooking
I
utensil
feel
or
like you
something.
could buy those.
Yeah, 'cause
you'll
it
have to ask Timothy Chalamet
I
about it.
will. I'll have to ask Tom Holland.
Not the same
Jeremy
person.
Allen White.
Jeremy Allen.
No, Jeremy Allen White is in his own league.
Jeremy Allen Chalamet. They're not in his own league.
Dude, I'm telling you, if Timothy Chalamet was in the Iron Claw, he would have looked like a twig compared to
I'm
Zac
not saying
Efron
he
and
wouldn't.
that other guy.
They all look like twigs to Zac Efron. Zac
Yeah.
Efron is the only one that got like that 80s wrestler build. Who was also, I know we've talked about this. What Von Erich was Zac
He played
Efron?
He played the wrong Von
He
Erich.
did. He should have played Carrie.
He played Kevin, but he should have played Carrie.
Kevin was super thin.
Yeah, yeah. Like Timothy Chalamet could have played Kevin.
Timothy Chalamet does look like Carrie Von Erich though.
He's thin. Cause he's thin.
It was the hair for me.
All right, you know what? We're talking about a freaking bear,
Yeah, Jeremy
a
Allen White.
supposed insurance bear.
Yes,
Oh God, the insurance bear is coming.
it's just like it's like a firm mascot for a law firm. Injured in a car, get the bear. John Bear Associates Insurance Agency.
So you haven't seen the video, and I'll show you.
I
one
haven't
where-
seen the bear.
First of all, it's great. It's on FX. You got to watch it. No, there's a like the video of the person in the bear costume fucking up the car.
Yeah, their own
is-
car.
Their own car is like publicly available. You can go find it on the internet, and it very clearly looks like a person in a bear costume, like huddled over trying to act like a bear, and then like gets in. I'm pretty sure like gets in the car, fucks up the leather seats, and then like fucks up the side of the car a little bit, and gets out
How
and leaves.
down bad do you have to be to go to this lengths?
I just think it's interesting that like
I just
there's-
really hope this was in like Toledo, Ohio, like somewhere there's not bears fucking up cars.
it was in Los Angeles.
Oh,
So-
do they have bear population in Los
I
Angeles?
guess they do. Yeah, like northern California, there's a lot of bears and stuff. The bears
Isn't
on
Los
their
Angeles
flag.
Southern California?
Yeah, but bears can make their way. Bears can travel. Remember Brother Bear?
Yeah, I do.
Remember
You're right.
Open
No, you're right. I remember Brother Bear.
Open Season?
Yeah, I do. With
American Pie?
who was the voice of the bear in Open Season?
I have no
Timothy Chalamet?
idea. Seth Rogen.
No, he was not.
Oh man.
It was more like James Franco in that one.
But yeah, bears are scary.
Yeah, so guy dressed up like a bear just to defraud his insurance agency, and obviously it didn't work because they saw the video.
Yeah.
And they're
oh,
like-
that's what I was going to say. All the insurance, there's another insurance claim, like a video that went viral a couple months ago of there was this lady on a highway who had a dash cam and someone cuts her off on the entrance ramp and reverses into her like really aggressively. And then they get out of their car, the people who just reversed into them, the person with the dash cam, and they're like, oh shit, what'd you do? And it's like 4 people coming out of the car. They're like, oh, what'd you do? Like, this is fucked up, this is bad. And then one of them sees the dash cam and they all like get back in the car and go off.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why? I didn't
What
realize.
a crazy thing to do in general, but like, imagine going in reverse on the on ramp.
Yeah, right. Well, and this is just like that to the nth degree to me.
Yeah.
Why are people making wild insurance claims? I didn't realize that it was such a popular thing. I guess such a popular like a fraud tactic.
I am of the opinion you could just drive poorly enough that someone would hit your car.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not one to give insurance advice.
This is
so-
not advice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
giving insurance fraud advice.
This is CGI.
Yeah, this
We're
is
on a movie set.
entirely satirical.
Right now. Yeah.
We didn't put the fucking disclaimer in front of the show yet. Maybe in 2025 we'll actually have a disclaimer in front of the live show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
But like, I feel like it's not that hard to get in a car accident. Like passively.
Maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
At least in Ohio and Cleveland,
Yeah.
people drive terrible.
I think.
Actually, statistically, Ohio has one of the best driving records and also statistically one of the most complained about drivers. So drivers complain more in Ohio, but we also statistically have better drivers.
Yeah, I think that like our drive. I remember I read a comment on Reddit from a truck driver. Someone was complaining about I-77 being backed up or always being a shit show going
Yeah.
into Cleveland or something like that. And the truck driver commented and he was like, actually Cleveland is one of like the easiest cities to get through, and it's normally like LA and Texas and New York that are like bigger, more heavy traffic, Atlanta that are more like heavy traffic cities that are harder to get through, and like Cleveland's and I was like, well, I guess that's good perspective. You
You
know?
gotta think too. Most of the highways in Ohio in general, at least northeastern Ohio,
Mhm.
are pretty straight
Yeah,
anywhere you
right.
want to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, right,
Like if I want to go to West Virginia, it's pretty straight the whole way there.
right.
If I want to go to Michigan, it's pretty straight the whole way there.
Right.
PA, it's literally straight down 77 if I want to go to PA.
Even in Columbus, it's just like
Yeah.
a big box that
Yeah.
surrounds the whole city, all straight. You know.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. But like I feel like I've encountered enough people on the highway that have almost hit me, where if I didn't just like move slightly, I could have got hit and I could have gotten insurance
Yeah,
payout.
right, right.
Yeah. Well, that's also if they have insurance.
Yeah, right.
No, no,
There's a
no,
lot
no,
of-
no, no, no. If they hit me and I have insurance, then my insurance is going after them. And I'm going after him in a bear costume. That's when I get the bear costume out of my
Yeah.
truck and I go, I'm Timothy Chalamet.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
In the
That's
bear
what that
costume.
show's about.
Yeah, he just walks around in a bear costume.
Yeah.
Well, if you just have
And commits
liability,
insurance fraud.
it depends on like what you coverage you have too.
I guess. Well, no, if they don't have insurance and they hit me, I'm going to sue them.
Okay.
I'm going to
Like,
sue them for a lot of
personally?
money, yeah.
Regardless, too, I think word to the wise, and this is something that I want to do soon,
Sue
too.
people.
Sue people, but get a dash cam. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone needs, in today's day and age, everyone needs a dash cam.
Yeah.
That seems,
I want one so
Why
bad.
don't cars, like, that should be something you could add to a car
that should
safety
be
feature.
something. Yeah, that
You wanna
should
talk
be
about
something
safety
that
features?
automatically comes with a car.
Yeah, we
Put
have
it in
cars
a-
that can play movies and fucking do all
Yeah,
this other
right,
shit on a
right.
touchscreen. Order a pizza from your car.
Give me a fucking dash cam.
Right.
That seems super essential.
We
in
have a
today's day
backup
and age.
cam. Just reverse it.
Right.
Just throw it on the front of the car.
And like allow us to have access to all the
Yeah.
recordings, all the VODs.
Yeah. Why
Interesting.
not?
I mean, they do
Why
it
is-
on Tesla.
Did
I
they?
don't-
Yeah,
I don't know if they
Tesla
do.
has a bunch of cameras in it.
It has cameras in it and around it, and
But
you can
not
have
for
like
recording
Yeah.
the dash.
you can have
Yeah.
like Sentry mode enabled, which is like when you're not around your car, it records when like there's motion detected around your car. But I don't think that it just automatically records what's
Right,
going
what's
on
happening.
in front of you, like a dash
It
cam
does
would. Right.
actually, because I watch. This is gonna be a plug to him because I love his channel. It's Wham Bam Tesla Cam,
Not getting paid.
Oh.
Don't watch him.
and he literally just posts a bunch of Tesla cams that have been sent into him of just crashes and stuff,
Interesting.
and it works as a dash cam, and all the cameras work during the drive. So like the
Interesting.
side cameras, the back
Interesting.
cameras,
Yeah.
everything.
I wonder if that's like a service you have to pay for through Tesla, like
It
a
is.
Sirius Radio. It is.
Yes.
See, that's the problem because I pitched this great idea on Shark Tank
Yeah.
right now, and then they go in and steal it and make it a subscription service.
Well, I think it's interesting too that like when we talk about electric cars and like the cars that have the coolest bells and whistles, it's
And we
always-
talk about the cars like, you just what I needed. 216-859-8699. What's your favorite Cars song?
You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
You know, for the third week in a row, I'm just chugging ayahuasca. It's a crutch.
Would you do an ayahuasca
No.
tour thing?
No.
So immediately ready to turn that heel. Just so immediately, not even a thought.
He's
Grace's
watched
head.
so many
It
videos.
was so like instantly no. Obviously not, dipshit. Why would I ever consider? What makes you think I would ever consider that? The fact that I say constantly that I'm presently doing ayahuasca? Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, Shane, what time you got right now?
7:20,
Oh, 7:20.
6:20.
7:20.
This clock is off.
Oh yeah.
Is it
6:20.
7:20 or 6:20?
It's 6:20.
6:20.
It's 6:20.
Oh, that means it's time for an ad read. You ever go to synergymusicstudio.com?
Yeah.
Or have you ever gone to genericlothes.com?
Literally every day.
How about hellbendervinyl.com?
I can't stop.
Why don't you go to all three of them? In fact, bookmark all three tabs. And while you're on that last one, hellbendervinyl.com, especially if you're an artist, check out their all different custom vinyl record pressings. They work with artists specifically. Love working with local music as
Yeah.
well. I almost said Locust.
They love working with locusts.
I don't know that for a fact. You can ask.
They probably do.
You can probably get like a design that looks like pressed locust
Yeah.
if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would want that, but I'm sure Hellbender could pull it off if
Yeah.
anyone could.
Yeah.
Hellbendervinyl.com. They're hellbent on quality, hellbent on service. They're one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants. Make your next album release more than a bunch of ones and zeros floating around on the internet. Go to hellbendervinyl.com today. And I don't think you have to worry about people breaking into your house when you go to hellbendervinyl.com.
God. Finally.
Finally, I have one place where people aren't going to break into my
I
house.
have evaded it. Finally.
There's a go back up so I can read the headline. There's a tenant that hid in his closet to avoid the landlord who let himself in unexpectedly.
That's a little spooky, and I feel like I would do the same thing.
If it's a little illegal, I'm pretty sure.
To hide in the closet? No.
There's
It's illegal to be in the closet.
there's good news. There's a light at the end of this tunnel.
A cryptic item, some might say.
A young woman has turned to TikTok.
Of course. Why would you turn to the police when someone breaks into your house
Right,
when you
turn
can go to
TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah, to share an unsettling story about her landlord entered her property unannounced, forcing her inside her closet to avoid an awkward and potentially uncomfortable
All right.
situation.
Time out.
Theo.
Forcing her inside her closet. You
Yeah, I don't
didn't
know if
have to.
that's-
No one made you get in the closet and hide. You could have just confronted the landlord and been like, "What are you
Yo,
doing here?"
What are you doing here,
Yeah.
weirdo?
Yeah.
You wackadoo.
Yeah, grab a bat.
Yeah.
Grab a gun.
Grab your gun.
Yeah.
What would you do? Do you think that's? Could a landlord throw you out if you pulled a gun on them for unannouncingly coming into your house?
No.
That's a weird catch-22.
I
'Cause
would.
it's their house too.
So like, it's in your clause that they have to give you X amount of time
Right.
before they come in.
And
So legally, you could just take them to court.
I think state law in most states is 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could just literally call the police, have them come, and then be like, "I would like to sue this person." Take them to
Right.
court.
But how awkward would it be? So a landlord breaks into your house. You're sitting on the couch, right?
Mhm.
And you go, "Oh shit, someone's breaking in!" And you grab your gun and you point it at the door,
Mhm.
and it's your landlord. And now you're aiming your gun at your landlord who just
Oh,
walked
hey,
into your house.
Jim.
And then you call the police and you're like, "Landlord broke into my house. I'd like to sue them, take them away, and get them out of my house."
Mhm.
And you go through this process, and then the following month, you are back being a tenant for this landlord after you just
Yeah. Something
threatened
has
them
to
with a
happen.
firearm.
Something has to happen there. Something has to change. You're the new landlord.
Yeah, I don't
Power
know.
dynamic has shifted.
You have to plan on moving once that
Yeah.
incident occurs.
You become the landlord. You own that property, and they have to pay you rent now.
You swap. You just swap
Yeah.
apartments.
Swap apartments. That's all. That's all that happens. Power dynamic shift.
But like this lady's landlord walked in on her
Mm-hmm.
just unannounced, and she hid in the closet. What'd he do? Like, does
I'm
it say that he did anything or just came in?
Yeah, it doesn't. At least, okay, from the TikTok, it didn't say what he was doing. I'm assuming it's a he, but it could be a she. But then that's the other
I
thing.
think the
is-
title said he.
So that's the thing that, like, okay, there's clearly like a weird power dynamic thing going on there, where it's probably an older male and then a younger female, and so like that's just a little creepy, face value, I
Right.
would say. And so it's like, Yeah, here it says, in most states it's illegal unless they give a specific warning, like 24 or 48 hours first.
This is something that happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
always stories about landlords just coming into. I've never once, when I was renting, I never once had my landlord like show up and be like, "Hey, I need to come in and check the apartment." That's
Yeah,
never
right.
been a thing that's happened to me.
Right.
It made me like that's just a fortunate thing of me. But that's I also when I first started renting, I think I rented for 3 years or 4 years.
Mhm.
When I first started renting, the landlord lived abroad in some
Oh,
other
whoa.
country because he was like a
Okay.
missionary. And so for
Okay.
most of the year he lived abroad, and I never met the guy in my life.
Interesting.
And so the person that I would pay for my rent
Mhm.
was my realtor who sold me the unit because like
Oh.
she worked under him as his
Right.
personal realtor
That's interesting.
and would just then send the money to him.
Yeah,
So it was a
right.
really weird dynamic that like I never knew my landlord.
That's super strange.
Yeah, I would just make out a check to this guy. I never. It could have been a whole fucking fraud thing.
Yeah, right.
Could have
Did-
just been money laundering.
Did you ever meet them? Did you ever meet the landlord?
No, never.
Interesting.
When I signed my papers, I did it with the realtor. When I'd pay, I'd do it with the realtor. Any conversation I had about like maintenance or anything was through the realtor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
Weird.
I was the only person that consistently had a realtor after moving in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, gotta talk to my realtor.
you gotta
real
talk to my
quick.
realtor about that.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like my legal counsel.
Yeah.
But no, I never had a landlord that would stop by.
see, like my landlord will come by to fix things,
Right.
and that was part of the contract. So like that is expected, but I don't think I'd be like pulling. I don't think I'd be hiding in closets. I don't know. I guess that's just a weird predicament to find yourself in. The landlord breaks into your house, and it's like technically they own this place. So
They're using probably their own key.
yeah, right. They're probably using their own key to get in. So how much are they really like quote unquote breaking in? But then also like I live here. This is my space,
Yeah.
and you do legally have to give me X amount of time, however long that is, 24, 48 hours, whatever. Like it's just a strange predicament to find yourself in. I wouldn't hide in the closet, but I don't know if I would know what the right thing to do.
I think in
is.
this specific, if I was given the opportunity, I think in this specific situation, I would hide in the closet. And like clearly, she knew it was her landlord.
Yeah,
So
right.
like she must have like seen out a window or like seen him come in.
Right,
And he didn't see her. So
Right.
like, at that point, I'm going in the closet and staying there, and I'm gonna call the police and be like, "Hey, somebody broke into my house," and
Yeah,
not disclose that I
right.
know it's my landlord.
Right.
Because
Right.
but then you also get, like I was saying before, to that flip side of, after everything is settled, your landlord now knows that you called the police on him, and your landlord also now knows that you know that he was breaking into your house.
But it's one of those things where if you frame it that you didn't know who was in your house beforehand to the police and potentially to your then landlord.
But then you figure out through legal that it was your landlord
Yeah,
that broke into
right.
your house. And I feel like that's still an awkward.
Yeah, and again, I feel like that's something where the police would come in and say, "Hey, okay, you can't be.
You cannot be the lord of this land.
You can no longer be the lord of this land."
Can you
Hear
get
ye,
your
hear ye.
landlord license revoked?
Yeah.
Can you get a
100%.
landlord license?
100%. I think that you can. I think that you have to like. There's probably something that you have to fill out at the very least.
You can't
to
just
say-
like buy someplace and rent it out to someone?
No, I don't think so. I'm fairly certain because there's like liabilities and shit like that.
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
know, there's, yeah, I mean, and you have to sign a contract with your landlord.
Yeah.
So you'd assume that contract has to go through some sort of legal system that approves your landlord to be your
Man,
landlord.
what if it was like in her contract that he could, like, he didn't have to give notice?
Yeah, right.
And like
you
she
don't
just didn't read it and
you
fucked
don't
herself up.
read your contract well enough,
Yeah.
and so then your landlord can come in at any time. That would be fucked.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified.
And like we
I'm
don't
just
have a lot
trying
on the
to-
story, so it could be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine, like, if I was standing in the kitchen and all of a sudden the lock started rattling, but it wasn't style.
Yeah,
like-
right.
I'd
Spooky.
probably just grab something and, like, arm myself. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
run.
It's just a weird situation to find
Yeah.
yourself in, I think. And then like because we don't know when she realized that it was the landlord. It could have been while he was still outside trying to get in, or it could have
Yeah.
been while she was in the closet already hiding. But like that adds another weird layer to it of like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
My landlord is about to be in the house. Like,
Yeah.
do I text? I don't know. That's so
Well,
like.
because I think of it the same way as like an Airbnb. You see all these videos all the time of Airbnbs of like a family pays to stay in the Airbnb, but then the owner is also there and using that room because
Yeah.
it's his
Yeah.
property and he owns it.
Right.
And there's always a scuffle of like, you rented this to us. Why are you here?
Right.
I think of it the same way of like this guy. I would assume to the police would be like, well, I own this building. I'm allowed to do what I want to my property.
Yeah.
And then the counter argument obviously is, well, you're taking money for this space. You are leasing this space to somebody else.
So legally, it is not your space
Right.
anymore. Yeah, that's and I think then it's very valid to, like, obviously don't make a TikTok immediately. Call the
Yeah,
call the
stupid
Yeah.
move.
call the cops and say, hey. I think it'd be fine to say clear as day.
You
hey,
think it's fake?
no. I think
I'm starting to think it's fake. If you go on TikTok right away,
I think people are just
There's a lot
stupid.
of people that do.
Yeah, I think people are just stupid, and that's what
Well,
you do
so
nowadays.
I think it's an easy bait.
Eh,
I think it's an easy bait if I go in my closet and make a TikTok and say my landlord just came in.
eh.
Well, there's this one TikTok that recently happened that this lady was getting raped, and she went on TikTok, recorded it, and then
Yeah, I mean, you gotta
she's-
call the cops.
she's now being sued by the rapist for being recorded without his consent.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta call the cops.
Oh my god. Yeah, what anyone who just doesn't call the cops when when there's crime in your property, what are you doing?
You're the problem.
If you don't want to call the cops, call 216-859-8699. We won't help, but we'll be here.
listening to the Rebel Radio Show, legal in 47 states.
Shane E.
Hello.
of Rebel Radio Show and Off Air fame.
Hello.
How many movies in your top 5 would you say are superhero movies?
Hello. Honestly,
Not one. Shawshank Redemption 5 times.
yeah, Shawshank Redemption 5 times over.
That movie's not good.
Probably only one, and probably only Spider-Man No Way Home strictly because of the fan service of having all 3 Spider-Men was peak cinema to me. It will not get better.
I agree. I was
Can't
thinking
make it better
about
than that.
I was thinking about my favorite movies of all
Mhm.
time last night, top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's such a tough list.
it really is. We should do
Mhm.
like either an off air or like a sub show about
Yeah. Because I
Um,
don't think that I could put like more than one Marvel movie in the top 5. And I
Right.
feel like I have to put one, and I feel like of all of them, it would have to be that one because of that.
Well, so
So there you
I
go.
went Walk the Line is my all-time favorite movie,
Banger.
and then Dumb and Dumber
Banger.
because we just talked about it like 2 weeks ago. I can watch it start to finish, and it'll make me laugh the entire time.
It is a hilarious movie.
15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb and Dumber Joker was in mine, which
What did you think of the second one?
I liked it.
You
It's
did.
not as good as the first one, but it wasn't supposed to be,
Okay.
and I liked it. It was
Okay.
interesting.
I still haven't watched it, but I thought like the general takeaway was the director didn't like the reaction to the first one, and so he made a sequel.
He didn't like who the target audience ended up being for the first
Right,
one.
So then he made a sequel that was like, well, sorry guys.
It was very much the meme of if you side with these characters, you missed the point.
Right.
And he like tried to make sure he drove that home with the second
Right.
one.
And I feel like that's a good thing overall.
Yeah.
I didn't see I wasn't in love with the first one like a lot of people were.
Yeah.
So that I didn't see the second one. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Just not in my. I think it would be like a top 20 maybe for me, top 25 maybe.
But I had Walk the Line, Joker, Great Balls of Fire. I don't even remember what the fuck my other 2 ones were.
Well, one was Spider-Man No Way Home.
One was Spider-Man No Way Home,
Yeah, Banger.
and then I think Great Balls of Fire might have been my 5th.
You already said.
No, I
Yeah.
said Walk the Line.
You already said Great Balls of Fire.
Walk
You
the
did.
Line, Great Balls of Fire, No Way Home, Dumb and Dumber. What the hell was my 5th?
Mask?
No, not The Mask.
The Mask is good, dude. Liar, liar. I feel like a
Damn, dude. What am I dumb? Can I not count to 5?
Oh, you already have a Jim Carrey movie in your top 5.
But I had to bump something to put Talladega Nights in there.
Oh,
was
so
my
then,
thought
so
process.
then Talladega Nights is your 5.
Yeah, but I had something else in there. But
To bump it.
because last night I bumped Spider-Man out
Oh, really?
to put Talladega Nights in there.
Oh.
So I don't know what the hell that 5th movie was.
Mm.
But regardless, I only ended up with one superhero movie in my top 5.
I feel like that's how it has to be.
But Spider-Man No Way Home was such a good movie that I couldn't not
Yeah,
mention it
it's-
in the conversation.
The plot itself is fun and cool, and also just the insane fan service of actually having 3
Yeah.
Spider-Men in the movie is like so.
And it's been, I will say it, of all superhero, not even just Marvel, all superhero movies, that is the one I've went back and watched the most.
Yeah,
I've probably seen that movie 20 times
We
already.
Probably.
all also saw it multiple times in theater.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the reason we're talking about Spider-Man and Marvel movies and superhero movies is
Mhm.
because Kraven the Hunter is in the news now.
Yeah. Well, it's out. It's released.
Is it released officially?
I believe so. And or at least like I've seen reviews of it. So if it's not released to like reviewers, then it's released to the public, I think.
Right.
But it didn't do great. It did like people expected. So it was another Sony Marvel movie that was a Spider-Man villain that didn't have a Spider-Man in it, and so people were not super stoked off rip. It's got Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, imagine if Jeremy Allen White was Kraven.
Dude, it would have went well. He could have been the bear.
I was gonna say he would have just been the bear.
Yeah. He already is kind of Kraven with the bear.
Who? Timothy Chalamet?
Tom Holland.
He's Spider-Man.
He's not in this.
Oh,
And so that's the problem, is that they've had it started with Venom, and then there was Venom 2, and then Morbius, and then
I forgot about Morbius.
Morbius was like the one that really tanked.
Yeah,
And then
Marvel would like to forget about Morbius.
And then Sony would like to forget about Morbius.
Morbius tanked so bad they put it back in theaters to try and cash in on the meme to make
Yeah,
more money
right.
to pay off the fucking
Which is one of
deficit.
those things where it's like, how tone deaf is Sony, dude? How tone deaf are they to like actually do something? It's like they want to lose money.
How tone deaf are Sony? They put out Madam Web.
Yeah, right. But then I think after Morbius was Venom 2,
Yeah, that sounds right.
and then maybe now it was Madam Web and now Craven.
Yeah, because they
think-
definitely slowed down.
Yeah, I think that's the canonical order
And
of how they
Across the
released.
Spider-Verses.
Yeah, but I feel like those are like I almost put those separate in their own.
Well, they're Sony. That's the only
Yeah,
reason I
right,
say
right.
because those were technically Sony releases.
Right, they are. But this is like the kind of the end of the Sony universe, or at least they don't have anything on their release calendar.
Yeah.
That is like a Marvel Spider-Man villain, and I feel like it did really bad, and I'm glad that it's over, I guess. But it's one of those things where we were talking about it before we went on. Sony doesn't let Marvel use
Spider-Man
Spider.
IPs.
Yeah, so like Sony doesn't let Marvel use Spider-Man IPs.
Well, hang on. Maybe we
But-
should backstep if people
Mhm.
haven't heard this conversation before. Sony owns Spider-Man.
The movie rights to Spider-Man.
Yes.
Right. Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man.
Well,
but
the production rights, right? Because video games too have to go through Sony. Digital media.
I don't know. I know that like TV shows are owned by Marvel.
Okay.
So I think
Okay.
I think they splice it up in different sections. So
Okay.
maybe gaming is owned by Sony. I'm not sure. But
At least movie rights.
at least movie rights are owned by Sony.
And this happened years and years and years and years and years ago.
Right. Marvel went bankrupt. They started selling the movie rights to their characters, and this was early 90s, late 80s. And so Sony bought Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
that's how we have, like, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and now...
Timothy Allen White.
Timothy Allen White through... They essentially signed a contract with Marvel Studios saying, okay, you guys can have Spider-Man for, like, your Marvel movies and the MCU solo movies
Yeah.
that they do, but we get to make other movies that have to do with Spider-Man villains but aren't necessarily Spider-Man related.
Yeah.
Um,
They're Spider-Man adjacent.
Spider-Man adjacent, right. And so that was what this universe was, this Venom, Madam Web, Morbius, Craven universe.
And that is why the No Way Home was such a big, like, in terms of film, it was such
Yeah,
a big deal
right.
because it was Sony and Marvel actually playing together for once.
Right, exactly.
Was that the movie we also saw the Venom cameo?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
nothing ever came of it
And then
because
nothing happened.
the
right.
partnership dissolved after that again.
Right. Which is another, like, it's something where we always have to be on, like, our toes about. Sony could pull Tom Holland as
Yeah.
Spider-Man at any point, and
Yeah.
we would just have to be like, okay, well, I
Yeah.
guess that's the way of the road.
Tom
know?
Holland's contract is not necessarily with Marvel.
Right. It's just kind of there's a mutual agreement between Sony and
Yeah.
Marvel that they can use Tom Holland for their movies, and Sony's still allowed to make their own movies doing their own things,
Well,
just
because-
not related to Tom Holland in the MCU.
In a contract like that, like Tom Holland's,
Mhm.
and I mean, in general with Marvel contracts, there's usually this clause, but it's more prevalent with Sony
Mhm.
because there's so much screen time you get to use Tom Holland in.
Right.
So if we talked about this with one of the Avengers, what was the one that just came out? What just came out?
Deadpool?
Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in the Avengers
Oh,
Towers
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
picture
yeah.
of Tony Stark and Tom Holland,
But they have Tom Holland's face covered.
because that would have counted as an appearance in a Marvel movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where they have to, like, he has to contractually be. He can be in Avengers movies, but only on contract.
Yes.
And he can have his own solo movies, but only on contract. And every appearance that you see him in the MCU, Tom Holland, is like Sony putting the green check mark on that,
Yeah.
saying, okay, we allowed that
Yeah.
to happen. But that doesn't mean that he's necessarily owned by Marvel, like by
Yes.
Kevin Feige and Marvel Cinematic Universe, the same way that Captain America and Iron Man and Loki and Thor and characters like that are.
Which, at least I found out recently, does not work the other way around. So because Sony is essentially contracting out Tom Holland to Marvel to use,
Mhm.
they own that contract. They could, if they wanted to, have put Tom Holland's Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man now, in a Venom, in a Craven, in a Madam Web.
So I think if I had to take a personal theory jab at that one, that's Kevin Feige putting notes on these movies saying like, "Don't do that. We have an idea. Don't do
Probably,
that. We have an
probably.
idea." Because there was for Madam Web, there was scrapped art of Tom Holland Spider-Man like in costume fighting whoever the bad guy was, and like the evil Spider-Man bad guy in that movie. So there was, my point being, there was leaked concept art of that being what you're
Yeah.
saying being a reality, and them actually using the MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man if they wanted to. But I think Kevin Feige is saying no. Let's use him in the MCU. Let's use him for the like. I have an idea. Let's save this.
Well, and you had said on top of like the agreements they have now, there's also something in there saying once Sony uses an IP like Kraven or Venom, Marvel cannot then use
Yeah.
it for so long.
Right. I don't even know if it's for so long. I think it's just
That's crazy.
like until the end of time, sort of, until the contract expires.
That's
Essentially,
insane.
yeah.
Well,
so
and the only reason I say so long is because like the Fantastic Four was owned by another studio,
and then they just didn't make a movie.
and they didn't make a movie, so
Right.
like the IP was going to go null and void and back up for
Right.
auction, assumingly. And they made this is in the 60s. They made a 4 TV Fantastic Four movie to use the IP to keep the IP.
yeah, and then they never released
that they
it.
never released,
Yeah.
yeah. So like they did that. They shot an entire movie just to keep the IP Fantastic Four.
Right.
So that's why I would think, maybe something similar along the lines, and that's why I would think like a character like Venom,
Mhm.
whose last appearance was Spider-Man 3,
Mhm.
and then randomly they decided to make a Venom trilogy in Sony.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was coming up on like a certain year cutoff, and like, oh, we're gonna lose Venom if we don't.
We have to use him.
Yeah,
That's very possible, and like it's just super. It's one of those things where it's unfortunate to me of like, well, Rhino was just in the Kraven movie.
Yeah.
Like, well, can't see him in a MCU Marvel movie, which is like it's becoming dwindling to what
yeah.
villains Spider-Man is gonna be able to fight.
I know a lot of people have this complaint too with the modern MCU is all the multiverse stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Sony is a big reason to blame for that, because if they keep using villains, that's less villains we can get in a Marvel movie. That's more of, okay, well, who's Spider-Man going to face? I guess he's going to be in an Avengers movie, or he's going to be in a
Right.
buddy cop movie
Right.
with Iron Man.
And you can go a step further and say like the whole messy situation with Venom in the most recent Spider-Man movie, the No Way Home.
Yeah.
How he was like in the post-credit scene, and there was a post-credit scene in the second Venom movie about him being in No Way Home,
Yeah.
and he saw the thing on the TV about I know him or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was a messy situation in and of itself that could have been resolved if Sony wanted to play nice and be like, okay, just use Venom in
Right.
your movie or whatever the case. It's just very it's one of those things where like it's interesting to see how far gone the situation has become, because contractually there's such a big dispute over this one giant character.
Yeah, and really, it's only Spider-Man at this point.
yeah, right.
Because up until now, I mean, we had the Fox universe,
Mhm.
but it wasn't a huge point of contention. And it
Right.
wasn't, and not to say the X-Men aren't big or Fox properties weren't big, but they
Mhm.
weren't Spider-Man.
Right.
It wasn't the superhero
the
that
big
the
guy,
company
their
was.
Superman
yeah.
or something like that.
So
yeah.
like it's while Fox was an issue,
Mhm.
it seemed like they were always more open to play ball too, in terms of
right.
and
Right.
at least in terms of keeping things for a superhero audience. They might not have been great movies,
Right.
and they might have been for the comic audience, but they were making superhero movies for superhero movie fans.
Right.
And where Sony is just kind of
It seems like they're just trying
worried
to,
about keeping IPs.
yeah, they just want to keep it. Which, and it's like another interesting situation with like Hulk, who hasn't had a solo movie in years, because I think it's Warner Brothers that owns Hulk.
Yeah.
And so like he can be in Avengers movies, and he can like be in the Hulk, or in Thor, but he can't have his own solo movie contractually, because
Doesn't
Marvel,
Warner Brothers work with DC now?
maybe it's not. It's someone. It's Warner
Okay.
Brothers or Paramount or I forget, but it's not owned
It might
by
be
Marvel.
Paramount, actually.
It's not owned by Marvel,
Yeah.
regardless of who. I forget who it is, but it's not owned by Marvel, and that's why there hasn't been. Because like Mark Ruffalo plays the Hulk now, and we know him as the Hulk, but there hasn't.
We
been.
don't have a Hulk origin of Mark Ruffalo.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have a Hulk origin of him.
Well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk picks up from Ed Norton's Hulk.
Right. Right.
Chronologically.
Yeah.
Chronologically.
Chronologically. correct.
In chronology
In
is
in,
what I was looking for.
in
In
the
chronology.
in the chronorium.
In the
That is how it is written. In the fabled tales.
if you start looking to the cryptic objects of the
Yes,
MCU,
Yes.
the orbs, if you will,
The orb. Ponder them.
the Infinity Orbs.
Yeah. Edward Norton was like not supposed to be cast in that movie,
Yeah.
but the director liked his test footage as Bruce
Yes.
Banner, and so it's like, well, I'm gonna pick him anyway. Like he's
Yeah.
my Hulk. Fuck you guys. And
And then once, who was it? Edward Norton?
yeah.
Who was the director? Do we know?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Because
but-
once he either left or got fired, that was like the first thing that Marvel Studios did was like, well, we got to recast Hulk because
Well,
we didn't want Edward Norton.
there was a note to the director from like I'm assuming someone like Kevin Feige, a producer writer
Yeah.
for Marvel, saying like, you can use him in this movie, but as soon as the Avengers comes up, we're gonna recast him as Mark Ruffalo. So like they had already set their sights on Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo when that Incredible Hulk movie came out, but the director essentially stiffed Marvel and was like, "Fuck you guys,
So
we're
we-
using."
Realistically, we could have had the Mark Ruffalo origin story with the Hulk movie, the
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
100%.
That's
And
insane.
it would have came out like a year or two after the first Iron Man.
Yeah,
it would have
in 2012, right?
it would have made sense in the order of like MCU releases.
Wow, that's
but-
great. Because yeah, if you look, well, is Edward Norton's Hulk still canon?
Yeah, it's still canon.
Okay.
It's just like a how they switched up the War
Right,
Machine actor,
right.
and like they acknowledged that on screen. It's just a situation like that
Yeah.
where they're like, "Well, we switched actors, so
Crazy.
Can we have
have
AI
to take the L."
take care of it and
Probably,
put Mark Ruffalo in the movie?
Just superimpose
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo into Ed
superimpose his
Norton's
face.
Yeah.
probably could. It probably wouldn't even look that bad in today's AI market.
I feel like I don't know if we talked about this on air or off air, not
Mhm.
off air your show.
Yeah.
But I feel like while I like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk the best, I think he has the most depth as a character,
Mhm.
and I think he does a good job as Bruce Banner. It's the worst physical Hulk. He's
Yeah.
so small,
I don't like
Yeah.
and he keeps getting smaller.
I don't like Smart Hulk either. I don't like him
Yeah.
talking as Mark Ruffalo. I want big scary Hulk. Like
Yeah.
that's fun. That's cool.
I still like the 03 Hulk.
Yeah.
I know it's terrible CGI,
But
but
it's
the
fun.
03 Hulk is like peak Hulk.
He's big and he
fucking
throws shit
18
around.
stories
yeah,
tall, yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they have that weird scene where he first breaks out of the lab where they like goo him. You remember that? It looks like
Goo-
insulation.
Goo him down.
It's like this white fucking foam, like foam insulation. That's all I remember from that movie. I'm like,
we
what
gotta
is
goo
this?
down the
Yeah,
Hulk.
they gooed the Hulk. They slimed him.
But yeah, I don't think. Well, and that was the other. So this article is proposing that. And the reason I even brought this in was because they're proposing that because of the Venom movies being successful, there's profitability enough. Like they made enough money for them to continue making Sony Marvel movies. So
Yeah.
they're likely not going to stop doing this. They're probably going to take a break, but they're likely not going to stop. And I mean, it's so weird because they've had bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb, and it's really like blatant that they just don't care
yeah,
about.
and then they fired all of their top people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say
right.
you'd think
Henry
some of these
Cavill.
actors would start being like, I don't. Okay, so
Well-
obviously Jared Leto
Mhm.
wanted to do Morpheus and it bombed,
Right.
and he hasn't been back. Was it Sydney Sweeney was in Madam Web and they told her it was a Marvel contract and it wasn't a
They-
Marvel contract?
They told her, and I think the 50 Shades lady
Yeah.
that it was going to be in the
A
MCU.
Marvel movie, yeah.
And it was like, because I mean, technically it is a Marvel movie, but it's a Sony Marvel
Yeah.
movie, which is completely different.
Yeah.
And so they were under the guise of like, oh, we're going to be in the MCU with
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. And then they started filming, and we're like, wait a minute, what is going on? And so like, I forget her name, but the 50 Shades girl went on SNL and like
Dakota.
to
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson went on SNL, was like hosting it, publicly bashes the movie, and it's like fuck that. Like, and
Well-
same Sydney Sweeney did it like 2 weeks later.
And
on
isn't the
SNL
reason
too.
they're actually like wrapping up Venom because was it Tom Hardy's his name? Doesn't he
Mhm.
not want to do the role anymore?
I don't
Wasn't
know if
that part of it?
I don't know if he doesn't want to do the role anymore, or I really think that they're just afraid to make more movies. Like, I really think that they're just like, oh shit.
Well, listen, I
well,
don't think it was a good series to begin with.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
like
right.
I don't like the symbiote being the comic and the guy being the straight man.
Yeah.
I think that's ass backwards.
weird.
I hate because, like we said, Sony's focusing on these solo villain movies rather than a Spider-Man movie.
Right.
You don't have a foil for Venom. You can't. Venom as the good guy is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't like, and yeah,
He is literally the big bad of Spider-Man,
right.
and you're making him the comic fucking goofy
Lovable
anti-hero.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Lovable anti-hero.
Terrible,
guy.
terrible fucking marketing. I hate all the Venom movies,
Right.
and it made me not like Tom Hardy. I'm not gonna lie.
I still like Tom Hardy, and I would if like he came back as Venom in the MCU, I wouldn't even be mad. I think he doesn't look the part of Eddie Brock,
Right.
but at this point
Bring
I would
back
take it.
Topher Grace.
Dude, no,
Topher Grace Venom,
no way.
slightly larger than average man Venom.
Uh-uh.
I'm all for it. Symbiote that's for some reason binds to the suit and not the person. I'm all for it.
Not me, sir.
Sandman.
Make him Sandy.
Listen, the actor that played Sandman, I always forget his name.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect casting. Like,
Yeah.
there's very few like perfect castings. I think Sandman's a perfect casting. I think Wolverine's a perfect casting. I
Yeah.
will say, I know we have to wrap up here in 1 minute. I will say, you sent me CM Punk as Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I think genuinely that would be a good casting.
I think it would work. I think
because
it could totally
he's a
work.
comic guy.
I think if you wanted to get into acting and took
Yeah.
it seriously, it's probably not even a super hard role to play.
Yeah,
Hey, bub,
right.
I'm a mean badass, bub. Kind of already adjacent to his character.
Pretty much.
Just talk a little bit more gruff and smoke a cigar.
I mean, he'd have to get a little bigger.
Yeah, you'd have to get bigger.
Or they'd have to do something in CGI
Right.
for him.
And
But
he's not even like that tall. He could,
he's
know.
like 6'2", something like that.
Yeah, okay, I guess he's same height as Hugh.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So, like, I think CM Punk could be a good Wolverine going forward.
I agree.
Better than Henry Cavill.
I don't
Better
know.
than the
I don't-
Wolverine.
I don't know if I agree about
I
that.
don't. It was a good cameo,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's all it needs to be. I don't think he looks good as Wolverine.
Maybe.
They did it all for the shirtless fucking
Maybe.
pic. That's all they did it for.
Maybe.
Also,
I like
just
the
to
shirtless.
dig on Sony.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
DC. Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, DC, my bad.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds is there, so
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah,
have a dig
right.
on
Yeah.
fucking.
Right.
If you want to watch The Green Lantern, 216-859-8699. Guys, I liked The Green Lantern.
I haven't
like
seen it
the
in a
Green
while, but I would
Lantern.
want to rewatch it.
I probably would hate it if I rewatched
It's
it.
probably not that
Let's
terrible.
watch Batman Begins and The Green Lantern together.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
Blake and Ryan fell in love.
Batman Begins and The Green Lantern.
No, the Green Lantern.
Yeah, they're fun.
216-859-8699 is the number to text into the Rebel Radio Show or any of the shows on WSRRradio.com. That's the homepage. You can scroll through our entire lexicon of programming. Of course, the Rebel Radio Show is live every Monday at 5 p.m. right here on WSRR Radio, but you can also catch off air the Shady Show, where he does cryptic Mongolian throat singing. He doesn't do that, I promise.
I can't stop.
That's 3 p.m. on weekdays on WSRR Radio for the replay of that. The Pigeonhole follows that, but all of them in podcast form are also available wherever you get podcasts or WSRRradio.com. Make sure you also check out the drive time programming every morning on WSRR Radio. Strictly Stritch in the morning, The Grab Bag, and Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland sports show from Pittsburgh with Lucas Durazio and Dom Farrow. All of those, of course, available at StylesRebelRadio.com or WSRRradio.com. Of course, thank you to our awesome sponsors that help keep us on air and help keep local and independent music in your airwaves nationwide. That's Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, GenericClothes.com, and Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. Give them a follow on social medias and check out their website as well. They do awesome work, and we're very grateful for all the awesome sponsors that we get to work with. Also, remember to check out True Vault Escapades from Preston Hardin. That's the Fallout-based radio drama weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern right here on WSRR Radio, where you can keep it tuned to save the local underground music scene wherever you are. Again, that's WSRRradio.com. Join the Discord server. Chat with all of us 24/7, 365. It's live, just like WSRR Radio. Until next time, I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Styles. Am I right, Sheenie?
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Adios.
Peace.